Welcome to our 86 NLCS Recap. So, the World Series teams have been set for 1986 in this playoff replay using quick pitch baseball, and it will be the Astros hosting the Red Sox. So, a little bit of a change. One team made it in, and one team didn't from the actual year. So let's just recap the entire NLCS. This one went 6 games. So game one, we have game one starters Mike Scott for the Astros and Doc Gooden for the Mets. And so Gooden goes 6 1/3. He gives up 4 runs. The 4 runs came, excuse me, came interestingly enough on a Mike Scott home run, who actually drove in more runs than he gave up. So he drives in 3 with this home run here in the second inning. They would later add some late runs with a 2-run single from Andy Ashby in the 8th, and that would come off of Rick Anderson. You can see here that Mike Scott, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 8 Ks. That wasn't his best game, actually, in this series, and we'll get to that in just a moment. He did give up a couple of home runs, gives up a solo shot to Ray Knight, and that happened in the 5th, and then in the 7th, he gave up a solo home run to Lenny Dykstra with 1 stolen base. Interestingly enough, Mookie Wilson tried to steal 2 bases, got caught twice. And I think that at least one of those was sort of an auto steal that came on, and the other, he's a 1 to 740, so he has about a 75% chance of making it, and got thrown out twice. So that was game 1. 7-2 was our final, and Houston took a 1-0 lead. So second game at the Astrodome. New York takes this one 6-2. So it went 10, 11, 12, 13 innings. And in the 13th inning, you can see here, Lenny Dykstra goes bombs. So we had a pinch hit from Danny Heap, and Heap got on with a single in front of Lenny Dykstra. Lenny Dykstra parks one into right field, and that was actually the game winner. They were in the top of the inning, which I need to mark that, huh? So that should be 4. Oh, I did there. Okay. So I get 4 in the top of the inning, and that would be the 2-run homer there. There was an error on the left fielder Cruz, who couldn't get to the ball. If I remember right, he missed that by like 1 or 2 on the dice, 1 or 2 out of 1,000. So then there was a strikeout, and just about as he was about to get out of the inning, gives up a double to Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry 3 for 6 with 2 RBIs. He did have a home run in the 4th inning, accounted for the first run for New York. And so that was a double there. Then that was followed by a single by Mookie Wilson, who brought in Darryl Strawberry, and bam, 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 it's 6-2. And then coming in to close the door was Rick Anderson, who gave up a couple of walks, but that was it. The starting pitchers in this one were Nolan Ryan and Bob Ojeda. Ojeda pitched really well. He went 8 2/3. He was 2 outs in the 9th, and he gave up a home run with 2 outs in the 9th to Bass. So Kevin Bass stands in, 2 down. So Ojeda gets a fly ball to left. He gets a strikeout looking, gives up a single to Glenn Davis, and then gives up a 2-run jack to Kevin Bass, and they were up 2-0. Couldn't preserve the lead with 2 outs in the 9th, and then he goes and strikes out Jose Cruz, right? So he got pulled. Bullpens were really good except for Anderson. Anderson gives up 4 hits and 4 runs. He would later come back in another game and give up more runs. So he did not have a good series. The 3 stars here, Strawberry, the number 1 star, number 2 star, Lenny Dykstra, And the number 3 star I gave to Kevin Bass. I mean, he stepped in 2 outs in the ninth and hit a 2-run jack to tie the game. So this evened the series at 1, and the series was headed to Shea Stadium for Game 3. So let's pull out our Game 3. In this one, it was a bit of a laugher, 9-3. The Mets controlled this all the way through. They just kept scoring in bunches. The starting pitchers here were Ron Darling for the Mets and Bob Knepper. Knepper really laid an egg here. He made up for it later in the series, but lays an egg here. 4 1/3, 7 hits, 6 runs. Darling, 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. It's a really solid start for him. Jesse Orosco came in relief, just shut down the Astros completely. For the Astros, they got a leadoff home run from Bill Doran. So he hit the third pitch of the game into the left field stands, and that was a quick 1-0 lead, but that didn't last very long as the Mets scored 3 in the bottom. Santana, the shortstop, I think he had 1 or 2 home runs all year, hits a 3-run bomb and brings home Strawberry and Knight for the first 3-run inning of the game. And then the Mets would come back later with a they had 3 more runs here, so he should have 2 RBIs. Let's clean that up a little bit. So he should have 2 RBIs. Kevin Mitchell started in this one in left field for Wilson. Wilson moved to center, and Dykstra was out of the game, facing off against a left-hander Knepper. So Mitchell comes through with a 2-run double, and Wilson had a run-scoring single, brought home Tim Tuffle, who got the start in this one. I think that was his only start in the series. And then another 3-run explosion as you get an RBI single from Carter, and then a 2-run home run from Darryl Strawberry. Darryl Strawberry, player of the game again, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. He just lit up Houston in this one, but couldn't come through. He was great in the first 4 and not so great in the last 2. For Houston, it was a couple of runs late, one via an error. So I had an RBI double from Doran, the solo home run from Doran, and then a little RBI ground out from Kevin Bass. So we head to Game 4, series tied at 2. This is in New York as well, and this one was not close. Mike Scott on the hill against Sid Fernandez. Fernandez, just a brutal start. 3 2/3, 9 hits, 6 runs, 4 walks and 3 Ks. And meanwhile, Scott was over here throwing a 5-hit shutout. He struck out 16. If I believe I watched a video that he struck out 14 in the NLCS, which was a record or tied a record, 15, something like that. So definitely set a record here with 16 Ks. And you can see here, he was just mowing them down. It was one after another. The only bright spot here, Lenny Dykstra with an RBI single, and that was really it for New York. But you can see here, scoring early and often, where the Astros we got a brutal inning here with an RBI double. There was a sacrifice hit. You can see there's an RBI on a squeeze play. So early on, I squeezed with Scott. He wound up in the series of 4 RBIs. So had a squeeze play there that led to their early lead. And then the scoring really began here in the back half of the game. RBI triple from Davis. Davis hit for the cycle. He was 4 for 4. Had a double, a single, a triple, and a home run. He had 4 RBIs and didn't even get player of the game, if you can believe that. So, Scott's 16K victory. So this is just all-around domination by the Astros in Game 4. That tied the series at 2 and had one more game at Shea Stadium. And this one faced off Nolan Ryan against Doc Gooden, so a couple of flamethrowers, really good, well pitched. It was beyond well pitched. It was immaculate. The pitching in the game was immaculate. In fact, so much so that I gave Doc Gooden the first star. He got the player of the game and he lost. So he should take the L there. Pitches a complete game, 6 hits, 1 run, 10 Ks, no walks. Against Ryan's 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 6 Ks. So both pitchers dominant, both pitchers in control of the game. There's really nothing to see except for the lone score that happened in the 8th inning. And this was pinch hitter Phil Garner. So Scrap Iron comes in and gets a single and a stolen base. So he takes second. And then Bill Doran again with another RBI as he knocked in Phil Garner for the single run in the game. Coming in to save the game was Smith for Houston. Not a lot going on down here. Just some scattered hits here and there. And 1-0 is the score there, and Houston takes the 3-2 lead. You can see here is Game 6, and Houston wins the series 4-2. The score was 5-0. And I told you Bob Nepper came back later. Nepper with the 9-inning shutout. So a complete game, 2-hitter with 7 Ks. And he faced off against Bob Ojeda, who pitched well enough, 5 innings, 3 runs. But he just didn't get any run support against Bob Nepper. You can see here just nothing. I mean, it's almost a no-hitter. We got 1 hit from the pitcher, and we got 1 hit from Tim Tuffle, so nothing going on in the middle of the order. A little bit different story as Houston just kind of chipped away the entire game. They got 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the 5th, 2 in the 7th, so they just sort of piled on when they had the opportunities. RBI single from Davis. Davis again, another good game, 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. 2 for 4 for Kevin Bass. He had a late 2-run homer that really salted the game away in the 7th inning. And here's a RBI single from Glenn Davis. We had an RBI double from Bill Doran again. Doran with a double. It's like every time he got up with someone on base, he knocked them in. And we had a sac fly here. So Garner triples to lead off the inning, and then Davis with the sacrifice fly, and then the 2-run home run for Kevin Bass. All right, so Houston gets into the World Series with a 4-2 win, and they are going to be the home team. They have 1 more win than the Red Sox. And in the next video, I'm going to go through the ALCS recap, so you can see that. But Houston into the series. Their Game 1 starter is going to be Nolan Ryan, and I will be televising all of those the World Series games. So I didn't do that for all of these League Championship Series games, but I will for the World Series. So stay tuned to that. And if you haven't clicked subscribe, then click subscribe. Quick Pitch is now available. You can go and download it at quickpitchgame.com. And you can get this 1986 season and play either the playoffs or any part or any team that you want to yourself. So go pick that up. You can join the Facebook group. And I will put a link to the Facebook group. And if you haven't subscribed, just click subscribe here. If you click that little bell icon, you'll be notified whenever there are new videos that are posted to the channel. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.